Welcome back to Sunrise. Now, she's Australia's bravest woman who has witnessed the horror of war. Her career, although rewarding, inflicted physical and emotional pain. Now she's sharing her experiences, and I met her. For many of the 30,000 Australians who've served in Afghanistan, this was a daily fear and for some, a reality. Among those deployed, Wing Commander Sharon Bown, an RAAF nurse. Sharon, what made Afghanistan different to other missions?
It was the first exposure that I had and many of my team had had to Australian service in a theatre of war. Sharon
witnessed war at its cruelest. She treated injured coalition soldiers and Afghan civilians.
That's live.
Her most delicate duty was treating and operating on her own countrymen.
When Australian casualties come through the trauma doors, there is a very different feeling. I know within myself and within my team. It's almost like family coming in to the trauma bays and a different sense of urgency.
There were just too many people in our area that really hated us and didn't want us to be there.
The majority of our patients would have been Afghan nationals, and that's purely because we were in Afghanistan, so they make up the larger number of potential patients.
As a woman and a mother, how do you deal with the emotion of being in a theatre of war?
We are human. We each have our limit. There is a limit to the amount of trauma you can experience, the amount of trauma that you can witness, and that's very individual and unique to each of us. The important thing is being able to recognise that, recognising when you have reached your limit, knowing what help and support is available.
We could honestly get into a firefight over the top of their heads, and they would lie in the field or in a ditch while it occurred, and once we were done, they'd get up and keep farming.
One aspect of local culture in particular proved challenging.
The fact that we didn't see women troubled me for some time. I was concerned that, they're half of the population. They suffer injury and illness just the same as the men. But where are they? Why aren't we seeing them? Why can't we care for them? So that certainly troubled me.
While serving in East Timor, Sharon was seriously injured in a helicopter crash. Her back was broken and jaw shattered. The mental scarring has lingered. Sharon believes that crash was a contributor to her PTSD.
In a way, I feel that my pain has shackled me to that helicopter, that no matter how much I achieve, how much further forward I progress in my life, there's always that daily physical reminder that keeps me in that little village in East Timor with that helicopter.
Sharon's story and that of other Afghan veterans is being told in a new Channel 7 documentary. They reflect on their own unique experiences in Australia's longest war, including dealing with the toughest of duties.
When you're out there on the ground and then people start shooting at you, taxes, politics, all that stuff is gone. Because right there in that moment, there's only two things that are important. And one's staying alive and two is making sure that you're keeping your buddies alive.
So Brett went down to clear the main charge, and as he knelt down and turned around and pulled his pull line to hook up to the main charge, that's when it detonated. There was tears rolling down my face and I had my glasses on and everything, and I said, well, what do I do now? I've never done this before. Who prepares for this sort of stuff?
Sharon was discharged from the Air Force last year. She now devotes her time to her 2 children and supporting other veterans, but will always remember her role in Australia's defence.
When I think of the children in particular that we cared for, and the children whose lives we changed, then yes, we made a difference in those individual lives.
And Sharon's book, One Woman's War and Peace, is available right now. And Afghanistan, the Australian story, is on Sunday night at 9:30 right here on Channel 7.
This is the most